little bit of your story, and then I'll get the slides going.
Yeah. So about my story, I have two kids, but one is my 11-year-old daughter. Her name is Madeline, and about 3 or 4 years ago, she was diagnosed with ADHD. And that kind of made sense because she's very active and constantly on the go, and just quite frankly, a little bit all over the place. So we started medicine, and that was a roller coaster ride. We've been on too strong of medicine. We've been on not enough medicine, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like to swallow pills. So then we had to like pour it into juice, but it couldn't be too much juice because she didn't like the beads in it. And so it was just like this process. And, if it was too strong, she wouldn't eat. And then it would affect her mood. She's felt like zombies. And so it was a nightmare. And so I began to just really feel like, how can I best help her? Like navigating the path on what does she really need and what will best help her to feel her best self. Because, those of us who have ADHD or children with ADHD, we know how sometimes medicine can make us feel. And, it's not always fun. So that's how, I got into exactly, and this is where we're at.
I know. I apologize, and of course, I'm having a hard time getting the slides up. Oh, classic.
Is it my phone or was it?
But if you have background noise, make sure you're muting,
There
friends.
you go, Sayla. Make sure they can see you. There you go, girl.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing. So the tricky thing about me being on my phone is that showing the slides
Sayla, you get a fresh one.
means I can't
Let's go,
mute
Dee Dee.
people. So I'll try to go through and mute some people. Well, okay, friends. So thank you for chatting with us while we deal with technical difficulties. What I want to share with you is my story that I'm coming from this with a older mom's perspective, in the sense that I have been using these products for, and by the way, friends, if you can hear my voice and you're not muted, make sure you mute. And we got lots more people joining. So I'm glad so many of you are here. We have 13 people with us now, which is awesome. And so I'm trying to do the slides and mute at the same time, or encourage you to mute on your end. We're so glad you're multitasking and you're still here. So, okay, so my story is that I'm coming from a older mom's perspective, in the sense that my kids and my husband, our family has been using these products for 13 years. And the benefits that we have seen, my husband and I have lost a lot of weight. My husband has reduced his cholesterol because of these products. And of course, we've made lifestyle changes along with them, but it's the products that have absolutely moved the needle. I have my oldest son is on the autism spectrum. I'm going to tell you more of his story in a minute, but the short story is that he is just thriving now because of these products. And so I've done a lot of research into what can help kids learn and focus. But I should also mention he's my oldest of 4 boys. So I've got 3 other boys. And when you have a lot of kids, you know that they have a tendency to like pass around germs. If one gets sick, everybody gets sick. And so I am so grateful that I've also done research on that. And it is rare that my kids have to go to the doctor. We definitely go when we need to, but for the most part, they haven't had to be on antibiotics, because as soon as they get sick, we head into our Shaklee natural medicine cabinet. But for the most part, they don't catch things, which is awesome because we've been able to build up their immune systems naturally. So we're going to share with you basically 4 products tonight that were like needle movers when it comes to building up your kids' immune systems naturally so that they're not catching everything going around, and then also helping them focus. And we can go deeper on these issues with you individually if you would like to share more of your child's story, but we're going to share these products with you if I can get my screen to share. But if not, you know what? It's okay. We'll get it to work. So when I did this earlier, I was able to share from my app, and I'm hoping that'll work again. But Tara, I know, has been, well, actually, let me tell you about some of the things that affect our kids' learning. So there's a lot of things that affect their learning, but the biggest thing is we often think, okay, there's IQ, there's their God-given ability, and you can't change that, right? I mean, there are definitely God-given abilities, but there are things we can do to change IQ. I'll tell you more about that. Also, things that affect their learning is their mood, right? And the circumstances that are going on in their house. If they are worried about a parent, we also know kids that are living in dangerous situations have a hard time focusing in school. Like, we know all of these things, their mood, their circumstances, those affect how well they can focus. Sometimes we have a control of that, sometimes we don't, but we all know when we don't feel good, it's hard to focus on anything else, right? So it's the same for our kids. But then there are other things that we have a bit more control of, and that is things like our environmental toxins. We are breathing in things all the time that are affecting how we feel, which also affect how we learn. And if I can get my slides to work, I'll share them with you on how those affect our kids. And then, of course, what they're eating is affecting their mood. It's affecting how they feel. And of course, that's affecting how well they can learn as well. And those are things that we can have control on based on what we're feeding them. And I want you to know, I'm a busy mom of 4. All of their meals are not organic. We eat out here and there, but there have been simple steps that we've changed in their eating habits. Hasn't been overwhelming, but these products have been those simple steps to add in that have moved the needle for their health. Because, I learned a few things about autism when I started to deep dive on this. And one thing I learned is that a child on the autism spectrum is 4 times more likely to have digestive issues. That's also true for a lot of kids with, because depending on who you talk to, autism is the big umbrella, and there's lots of other special needs under that umbrella. And so maybe that's true for your child if you have a child with special needs. But I found it very interesting that they were 4 times more likely to have digestive issues. And when my son was diagnosed at the age of 3, 4, he was still in diapers, and I heard that and I was like, yeah, absolutely, he's got digestive issues. And he had a lot of sensory issues. When people would clap in church, he would cover his ears and scream. He was easily overwhelmed by stimulus. He was overwhelmed. He wasn't really talking even at the age of 4. We knew he could communicate. We knew he could understand us. And so we started looking into what could we do in changing his diet? What could we do holistically that gave us hope? Because unfortunately, our teachers that we were working with in special education, I would say, unfortunately, just weren't great teachers. There's great teachers out there. These people were not them. They didn't give us a lot of hope for helping him. It was more just like deal with the problem versus help him rise up. And of course, not every child is going to be able to fly, but my vision was to empower my child to be his best self. And so we started looking into things, and we found out about the digestive issues. And I thought, I've learned that the gut is considered the second brain. And so if we can heal the gut, if we can give the body what it needs, it will be more likely to do what it's designed to do. And so while I try to bring up these slides, I'm going to turn it over to Tara, because I know Tara has been on a bit of a journey herself in learning about the gut and the brain connection and what we eat and all these things. And so Tara, I'll turn it over to you while I try to bring up these slides.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just like Alyssa said, when she says that, the stomach is like the second brain, it's so true, because I not only I spoke with a naturopath, and I was like listening to podcasts, and I've been on this like big research journey and everything. And, I've learned that 90 to 95% of serotonin comes from the gut, and 50% of dopamine comes from the gut. So if you don't have good gut health, your whole body is out of whack. Your hormones are out of whack. Your stress is high, anxiety is high. You can't think clearly. Like it's just a mess. And so going back to my daughter and trying to figure out how to best help her, she was in a period of like, she's not a great eater. She's a picky eater. She'll eat some fruits and vegetables, but, picking on protein. And so it's just kind of like, how do we fix her gut and help her to be her best self? I also learned like things that gave her spikes in blood sugar, so here I'm thinking grapes are great for her, and red apples are great for her, but those types of foods for her being ADHD are going to cause her to have spikes in her blood sugar. And so then when she crashes, it's a hard crash. So now she's irritable, she's moody, she's emotional. We're having tantrums and crying for no reason. And it's worse when your body's not in balance. And so finding, better choices with your meals and your nutrition and your supplements, can kind of help counteract all that. And so that is the journey that we have been on and things that we've incorporated, and it's really helped.
Praise God.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And I love also that our slides are working now. Hopefully you guys can see them.
Yeah.
Sorry for the distracting of all my phone, but so I love that. And that's been our journey as well. As much as we can feed our bodies what they're designed to eat, they are going to be more likely to do what they're designed to do when it comes to focus and when it comes to their immunity. So those are the two things we're really going to focus on tonight. And so what I'm going to share now is I'm going to share 4 Shaklee products that move the needle. And I'm honestly putting them in the order of importance in my mind. All of them are important, but if you have to pick and choose, I'm putting them in order of importance. And Tara, feel free to chime in with some of your stories here too, because the first one I want to share is probiotics. You want to have a probiotic that is dissolving in your lower intestine. That's the thing. It's so interesting because when I was using probiotics before, my probiotics were always refrigerated, and Shaklee probiotics are not refrigerated. And so I was like, well, that's weird because what's going to keep them alive? I heard I had to keep them in the refrigerator to keep them alive. Well, if you think about it, your gut is not refrigerated either, right? And you want to have a probiotic that is going to get to the lowest part of your intestine, because 80% of your immune system lives in the lowest part of your intestine. And it's where all those receptors are that are feeding the microbiome and helping that gut-brain connection. It's in the lowest part of the intestine. And so Shaklee scientists, this is where Shaklee probiotics, and honestly, all of their supplements are very different, because they are designed by scientists to dissolve in the right place of your body at the right time. And so this is an example from Vitalizer, which is the daily pack I recommend for all moms who want more energy, better hormones, all the things. But the probiotic is one of the things that comes in there, and it's the one that you will see at the very bottom that is dissolving in the lowest intestine. And the reason for this tiny little probiotic has a triple coating on it. So the first coat is dissolving in your stomach acid, in the harshness of stomach acid that's not refrigerated. And then the second coating is dissolving in your upper intestine. And then by the time it is dissolving in the right place of your body at the right time. And honestly, all of their supplements are designed in this way to dissolve in the right place of your body at the right time, which is just the really unique thing about Shaklee being so clinically tested and proven, and created by scientists. So you've got beyond organic standards, dissolving in the right place of your body at the right time. So, that one, well, I'll go back to the probiotic for a second. That one was the first one we gave my oldest son, and we started to see his sensory issues were improving. And he was actually starting to make some breakthroughs on his speech as well. I will tell you that we also started changing his diet. We started reducing how much gluten he was getting. And like less processed foods and more whole foods. But honestly, we were kind of doing that before. It was really the products that we saw that were moving the needle. So, but the second product I want to share with you in order of importance is we also started giving him the Life Shake. So this is a daily protein shake. Shaklee has a lot of protein shakes, and there's a lot of protein shakes out there on the market. So you might think, well, protein is protein. Well, the thing is, not all supplements are created equal. Not all protein shakes are created equal. You definitely want to be giving your child any sort of protein, especially for breakfast. If you think about it, before they go to school, the typical American breakfast, what was I giving him? I was giving him, Cheerios, and carbs that our body uses up quickly, and then they're hungry or even hangry by 10 a.m., right? So we want to have a breakfast that has protein in it. And so you could be making eggs, you could be making sausage. I just didn't have time for that in the morning. So he got, a bowl of oatmeal, and next to it, he gets a Life Shake. And we were finding that was preventing those hangry meltdowns for lots of kids that I've worked with different needs, I think every child needs to start their day with a little bit of protein. So all of my kids get this as part of their breakfast routine. And that protein helps the cells communicate and increases that concentration. It's why they tell kids they should eat a meal for breakfast before on testing days. They know that they're going to have better results if they have fuel in their tank, right? So, but here's what's really interesting. There's actually multiple studies, but even early 2025, Newsweek published about how many protein powders, I'll try to zoom in on this, you can see, many protein powders may contain these shocking substances. This kind of stuff is coming out all the time. What was crazy about the Newsweek story is what they tested was they were testing organic protein powders as well as non-organic. And the organic were the top offenders of having like heavy metals in their protein powders. And why is that, right? Well, I'll tell you, FDA unfortunately does not have very high standards. And even when it comes to organic, whether people are following the rules of organic or not, Shaklee has rules that are beyond organic standards. So organic tends to look at what gets sprayed on this crop at the end. That's a great thing to look at. Shaklee looks at that, but they also look at what's in the soil from the crop that was there before, and what is this downstream of? And then they also test it after they've processed it, because a lot of times things are getting contaminated in the processing of turning something into a protein powder, or into a supplement. And so they test before, they test after. They have such a rigorous testing process. And so that with their protein, you're getting a clean protein. Your child is not getting any more metals. That's not a good idea. And it's great for you too. It's great for moms. It's also going to absorb in ways that other protein powders do not. So the Life Shake is our favorite. This is what I use every day too. It's helped us to lose weight because it helps your body hold on to muscle. But it's full of nutrition too. So great for our kids, great for us, doesn't have anything dangerous. So we drink the same thing. So that's the Shaklee difference with the Life Shake.
And I'm going to chime in.
Yes,
on
please
that.
do.
So, the Vitalizer, I love that. I take that every morning. The probiotic pearl that's in the Vitalizer, Madeline started taking that. And so that's been really good for her. And when it comes to the Life Shake, the one thing that I felt that was so important, especially of a mom of a daughter, is they have the plant, based one, and then they have the soy Life Shake. And so we use the soy because I have recently learned that soy is so important for girls, women. It helps balance their hormones. So women going through menopause, having hormonal imbalances, our girls who are going through puberty, it's going to help balance their hormones. I also learned
yes, and I'll mention specifically non-GMO soy, which is what Shaklee has. So yes, absolutely.
Yes, thanks for pointing that out. And then I read too that the soy helps decrease your chances of breast cancer. So for women, especially for me and my family, that's in my family. So that is, and so that was really important to me.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Tara. Yes. So true. So true. So yeah, the Life Shake is such a great staple product for the entire family. And honestly, even just protein in general, I've learned more and more about how the average American diet just isn't getting enough protein. So even for me, this is how I start my day. And it's so easy because I'm trying to get all the kids out the door. So it's a great mom breakfast, and it will change your energy level for sure. So awesome. All right, so I'll move on to number 3. So number 3, what's going to move the needle is beyond organic supplements. So I touched a little bit on how Shaklee has beyond organic standards and how they have such a testing process of the ingredients going into it. They also have times that, in fact, this product that I want to share with you, the Meology Kids, this is perfect for a child that maybe has sensory issues and doesn't want to swallow, or even our young kids that won't swallow. This product was on back order last year because they could not find a safe source for one of the ingredients that goes into the Meology Kids. And so they wouldn't make it. They refused to make this product if they couldn't find a safe source for one of the ingredients. And so our kids didn't have these for a little while. So I actually had to teach them how to swallow. Some of them learned how to swallow. But I love that they have that commitment to purity. And I don't know any other company that is willing to sacrifice the dollar to for over quality. But that's like that is Shaklee standards. And so you know that when you are, if you have used supplements for your kids before and you feel like, well, it didn't really make a difference, well, you know, there's a lot of Consumer Reports stories that are coming out all the time that will say what's written on the side of the bottle, and when they test, they find out nothing that's written on the side of the bottle is actually in the bottle, or a lot less than what they're saying, or it's got toxins in it, right? So you maybe have not used vitamin C before if it didn't work well for you in the past. So knowing that you have a quality supplement that is absorbing in the right place of your body at the right time and is made of quality ingredients is huge. And so if I were to choose top most important supplements for your kiddo going into the school year, I would say probiotic first. That's why I listed that one first, because that's going to get your gut health and your brain health. It's so important. And I would say that's why my kids rarely get sick, is that probiotic that's feeding their gut every morning. But then second on that list is a really good multivitamin. And so we have ones that you can swallow. We also have ones that the kids can chew. They have these gummies. They also have some more like chewables if your child doesn't like gummies, but these taste amazing. And then, especially for that brain health, those omegas are so, so important. And so I love this Meology Kids pack because, for one thing, it is so cute. They get to design it. They can put their name on it. They get to put their design on it. But it comes with these 2 red multivitamins, this purple immunity supplement, and then the orange is actually a chewable, it's like a jelly substance. I think it's strawberry lemonade of omegas. And so the kids are getting what their brains need. And then, of course, we also have other immune boosting supplements and focus boosting supplements. I encourage you, after this presentation, ask Tara to add you to our team group called Simple Healthy Swaps, our Shaklee family, because I'm sharing lots of stories in there. You can see specifics on what we have, or of course you can ask Tara. But what I love is that, you know, PCBs are something people think about a lot when it comes to fish. It's hard to find a safe and pure source for fish. And that's true with our supplements as well. And so Shaklee has such a high level of standards for their omegas that you know they're not going to be contaminated with PCBs. But, you know, we also have the Omega Guard. If your child will swallow, I would recommend that even more if they're willing to swallow, because it's a higher amount of the DHA. But if also that's the Meology or the Vitalizer pack next to it, that also contains those omegas. So it's great for moms, great for older kids that can swallow. Here's a picture of my cutie pie with his Meology kits. And so talk with me and Tara about, you know, what's going to be the best fit for your kiddo. And then finally, the 4th product I want to touch on is toxin-free cleaners. This is probably one that you didn't really think of, but it's very interesting. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and swipe to this next picture, because this is a test that they did on how kids are affected by breathing in the fumes of cleaners. Okay. So what they did was they had kids write out their names before the test, before they put basically an open bottle of bleach in the room. And so you can see what Edward's name looks like. And then how he wrote his name during the test. It's so tiny there. Isn't that crazy? And then his writing after the test, after the bleach was taken away, but the fumes were still in the air. You see the same thing even with Ryan here, before the exposure and then during the exposure. At the heat of exposure, he didn't even try to write it. And then after the disinfectant exposure. And so if your child is in a traditional classroom, we can't always control these things, but you could always talk to the teacher about safer cleaners that don't have fumes, but you absolutely can control what's in your house, right? And so I love the Shaklee cleaners, first of all, because they save me so much money. These cleaners are a fraction of the cost of name brand cleaners. Also, I had used like green cleaners before, and I'll tell you, I had a terrible experience. It never worked. I went back to Mr. Clean over and over again because I was like, I know this stuff is good for the environment, but it doesn't work. The thing about the Shaklee cleaners is it works better than the name brands. I feel that, but actually it's been tested against many name brands. And that's what shocks people every time they use it. Like, I can't believe it's a green cleaner and it actually works. I know, it's crazy. And it doesn't have a smell to it, which might take your brain a little getting used to because you might associate the smell of lemon or pine with clean, and this has no smell to it. But it does help disinfect. It's made with corn and coconut. We also have a product called Basic G that is a deeper disinfectant, has a bit of a smell to it, but it's really light. So anyway, I'll show you a couple of those pictures there, but here's an example of how it is like a fraction of the cost. So what you do get is you get a bottle of the concentrate, and then you dilute it with water. So like to make window cleaner, instead of spending, I'd say $3 or $4 on a bottle of Windex, you use our 12 to $13 concentrate bottle. You put like 1 or 2 drops in a bottle of 12 ounces of water, and basically your window cleaner is now costing you less than a cent, basically. But then also there's different, you add 1/4 of a teaspoon for the all-purpose cleaner. The degreaser is more like 1/2 a teaspoon, but still that bottle of cleaner is now 20 cents compared to $3 or $4. So huge money saving. It's so effective. And I'll also mention that we also like the same Basic H, which is the concentrate. They have made dish soap with it so that it's cleaning your dishes and you're not eating toxins off of your dishes. They make their laundry detergent with it. And so I heard a story of a kiddo on the autism spectrum who had never slept through the night. I think he was 8 years old, never slept through the night. When they switched his laundry detergent on the sheets he was sleeping on, it was the first time he ever slept through the night in his whole life. So our kids are breathing in pretty smelling toxins from our cleaners and our air fresheners and our candles, but they are messing with their bodies. And so as much as we can reduce these things, it's very possible and very doable. Tara, did you have anything you wanted to add about the cleaners?
The only thing I'll add is that, you spoke of like the fragrance and all of that. And, I had learned that fragrance can mess with like your hormones and mood and your concentration, just like with the toxins and other cleaners and stuff like that. And for me, I never really realized that. I'll spray Febreze around the house and just have my house smelling good, but never really realized how badly it was affecting, my health, really.
Yeah.
And then I think the window cleaner, when it was in Emily's, Emily hosted her event, and she said that her husband was a big like windshield washer guy, and they put it in the car for his windshield washer. I was sold. I was like, because I'm a huge windshield washer person too. So I have
Awesome.
to try that and try it.
I love it. I love it. So good. Yeah. And I was doing the same thing. I loved all those pretty fresheners. So how would I know? And most of the time we don't know. We don't realize it's messing with our health. It's messing with our kids' health. It's messing with our sensory issues. So it smells so pretty, but so yeah, I love that story. So thanks for sharing. So, well, you guys have stuck with us through technology difficulties, and we appreciate it. We're just about done. So if you think that you might want to make a purchase or you want to learn more, I just thought I'd fill you in on the specials that you could get today / this month, in case you think that you want to buy. And so the first special that's very good, of course, is you can buy anything at full price. And what you should know is Shaklee products are like such a reasonable price. Even if you're paying full price, it's very reasonable. However, I am a deal hunter. I always like to get a good deal. And so I want to share with you that the better deal is if you spend $150 on your first order, you are going to save 15%. So you can get more. I always love getting more and saving more. So it's going to give you a membership, and the membership has no strings attached, except that you get 15% off this and all future orders whenever you place them. But it's got those perks, but no strings attached, and you get free shipping. And usually shipping is around $9. So to be able to spend those $9 on products, I love that. So that is the better deal. And there is one other deal that's even the best one right now if you like free stuff, which I love free stuff. So right now, through the end of this month, you can get a free product if your first order is $175 or more. And the free product that you could choose from, I'm going to zoom in on this, is our eye treatment, which is worth $65. You would get it for free with a $175 order. I love it. It has helped like the dark circles under my eyes, and it's made with this cooling tip. And like all Shaklee products, it is clean. It is clinically proven. So the stuff that's in their skincare is incredible. It's made my skin look amazing. And it's safe. So $65 product for free. Or if like eye treatment is not your jam, we also have our Rest and Rewind nighttime tea, which really helps you to relax before you go to bed. It also helps, it has some anti-aging properties. That's why they call it Rest and Rewind. So it's good for anti-aging. And so anyway, if you spend $175, you'll get 15% off. You'll get to choose which of these products you get for free. And you get free shipping. So that is the best deal right now. And one other thing I want to mention is that if you order by this Monday, August 18th, you can win. We're going to do a drawing among everybody that orders by the 18th, and we'll do a drawing for a Mom's Energy Pack. So talk with Tara about that, because I mean, who doesn't want a Mom's Energy Pack? We're here talking about our kids, but all moms want more energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stop sharing, because we need to do our drawings for our live attendees. And maybe I can just like number people here, Tara, and have you pick a number between, let's see, how many people do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, pick a number between 1 and 10, Tara.
Okay, we're going to do 7.
7. Okay, it's iPhone. I think we have a couple of iPhones here, but if you, well, there's iPhone 20 and then there's regular iPhone. If you are a regular iPhone, you get $5 off on your order. So talk to whoever invited you and we can just give you $5 off your order. Why don't you choose one more number, Tara?
3.
Brooke Coleman, you also get $5 off. So make sure you talk with whoever invited you and we'll make sure you get $5 off your order too. So, okay, friends, I'm going to stop recording, except first it looks like I'm going to change my background. Sorry, I don't know how, I don't always know what I'm doing, but I'll tell you, I have built a successful business without always knowing what I'm doing, and you could do the same. So let me see if I can turn off the recording, but do we have any questions once I stop recording? And maybe I can't stop recording. Any last questions before I stop recording or hang up or figure out what I'm doing here? All right, friends. Well, thanks for being here. We appreciate you, and talk with whoever invited you to take advantage of some of these deals. Okay. Oh, and also you may want to join our group, Simple Healthy Swaps, so you can learn more, kind of dive a little deeper. This was a good overview. So, all right. Thanks for being here. Bye.
Bye.